Hey y'all, it's Day. So, I'm going to be doing a reading for us today. Again, I am using the Somnia Tarot by Nicholas Bruno. Very excited for this reading, very excited for this message. Today, we are looking at another celebrity who happens to be a male. So, I'm going to be doing a reading for them, for us. And I do want to thank my angels, guides, ancestors, God source, and benevolent energies that stand in truth and love. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the protection. Please continue to guide and protect us as we walk our path. If this message resonates with you, if you receive this message, like the video so that I know that the message was received. So let's see. What do they need to be aware of? What they need to know? What they need to keep in mind? Because source and benevolent and truth and love. It's beneficial for them to be aware of. Their angels, guides, ancestors, God source and benevolent. I want them to know. That feels good. Oof, a lot came out in that last one. This feels great. So, the under the deck, undercurrent energy is the Queen of Swords coming out upright. The volume of the music is bothering me, so I'm going to turn it up. It's just too low for my liking. Hold on, I'll take you with me. I hate having to edit videos, it's annoying. Okay. Okay. So yeah, undercurrent energy. And I feel like this Queen of Swords has something to do with this person, whoever this reading is for, communicating in a more, like a more fully rounded way. It's like something about this person. They are coming through as the Queen of Swords. So there is some level of understanding and there is some level of acknowledgement of the development that this person does have regarding their communication. And I'm hearing the words sought after. So this is someone which I have been able to see myself, or my perception is this also, which is like this is someone whose words are respected, whose opinion is respected by many other people and even admired. But the message that's coming through from their spiritual team is that they are wanting to see more personal development regarding their communication. And it feels like this person can be more black and white. Um, and I'm hearing the word severity. And it's like they can be a little bit more compassionate in how they communicate with others. They can be more understanding or exercise patience, more compassion when they communicate with other people. Now I feel like the music's too loud. It's okay though. Um, and I'm hearing the word sincerity. So yeah, it's very interesting because it's not necessarily that this person is not compassionate or they're rude or they're someone that kind of like bulldozes over people with their words. It's interesting, the last reading something did come up about someone using the truth to justify how they navigate their circumstances, their situations, and their interactions. So some people will say something that they know is rude or they know is out of pocket or they know might hurt someone's feelings and saying, well, it's the truth, as a justification for, to be able to bulldoze over people or humiliate people, or it's kind of like just a lack of awareness of how they affect people, or even sometimes they do know how they affect people but they don't care, hence the justification. So it's definitely giving me, like, you see how sharp this sword is, or imagine how sharp a needle is. You know how needles can be so sharp that like it just goes through your skin so effortlessly. um, there's something that's coming through with this analogy of, you may have heard of that phrase, like it'll make the medicine go down smoother or eat more easily, like how you can sweeten something up to make it easier. Like, yes, I know it's good for you, but can you do something with the taste? Can you do something to eliminate the smell? Because I understand that it's good for me. I know that this is medicinal. I know it's for my benefit. But do you mind? Is there anything that we can do about my experience consuming this? So it's that energy, and their spiritual team would like them to know that, you know how sometimes people can have like older generation versus the newer generation. Sometimes the older generation is like, oh, the younger generation are soft or they're punks. We used to have to walk outside in the snow to school. I seen some posts was going around about older generation talking about how soft the younger generation is because they used to have to to snow in the school walk to school in the snow. And then I guess it brought up an argument that some people were making of like how that might have been child abuse, or how, like, it's the energy of having to tell your parent, like, I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. I understand that that made you a better person, but that doesn't mean that you should have had to go through that. And how, sometimes we can go through things and it affected us so badly in a negative way that we decided to take that on as a badge of honor. So I'm thinking now of like the hazing process in certain, I guess it's colleges or universities, how people can had to do a whole bunch of bullshit to be a part of this organization, and how the cycle continues because they worked so hard or they endured so much in order to get into the organization that they can't, in order to justify the reason why they did it, they continue the cycle, or they now participate in that cycle for other people that are coming in. It's like they take on this label, this pride, because they survived it, not realizing or not acknowledging, like, hey, you shouldn't have had to go through that, you know? So something that this person's spiritual team wants them to take on in order to develop their, continue to develop or mature their ability to communicate, is it's okay to sweeten the scenario. If you're trying to communicate something, like, you don't have to say things harshly just because you want your point to get across. Like, it, I don't know why that is coming through. So yeah, we have that coming through. Very interesting. At the top of the spread, on the left, we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. So yeah, this is a great depiction. The knights, in general, the knights have a mission. They have a goal. They're in the stage where, like, they've passed the interview stage. They already, let me say it this way, they already made their resume. They learned how to market themselves. They went to the extent to practice for the interview and prep themselves. They've gotten the interview, and they successfully passed their interview. They got the call back, and the night is in the stage where you're in that 2 weeks training, or you're in that 4 week, 6 week, 8 week training period. So you understand the mission. They've already, told you about the company's mission and their purpose. You understand fully your role. You're getting a feel for how everything is supposed to go. You're getting a feel for what executing a task in this organization looks like. And you are on a mission, and you hold it dear to you because you have this intention on executing your mission. So that's what the knights in general kind of like mean to me. With the Knight of Cups, I have heard has been like depicted as that romantic type of person. So they have an offer, they have an intention. We've already been through the process of, they picked out a gift, they've wrapped the gift. So the gift has intention, and now they have to deliver it. That knight is determined and has the intention on delivering. So the Knight of Cups came out in reverse, and this is bringing up the idea that their spiritual team acknowledges that they do have something of substance to say. They do have an offer, but they're asking them to kind of evaluate the delivery. So maybe being mindful of the packaging. How is it packaged? How are you presenting it? And so with the cups is related to water. So water can be emotional. It can sway or contract. And what's the opposite of contract? It's like opening and contracting. So it's fluid. It's accepting in a way. So something is coming up about being in tune more with their emotions, or being in tune more with the emotions of others. Being more mindful, being more aware of your communication. understanding the mission, but not allowing your understanding of the mission and the fact that it has to be brought to a task where it needs to be finished, not allowing that very valid fact to compromise your ability to still be human, to still be compassionate, to still be open to change. So sometimes we can have a mission, and because of how tunnel vision we are about completing that mission, we see someone on the side of the road, for example, and we're just like, that that aspect of yourself that is human, that needs to, and not saying that you have to stop on the road because people be weird, but that's just an example. Like, you see a turtle crossing the road or something, it's like something about, don't forget your humanness, your compassion. Sometimes saying things in a more softer way could be beneficial, and it will make you more well-rounded. So the Queen of Swords, going back to this under the deck undercurrent energy, she's very decisive. She knows exactly what she wants to say. She's also very short. She has a short attention span as well. Like, get to the point. What is it that you have to say? So she could be snippy, or she can be short, or she can cut really deep with what, she can make decisions like this without always being balanced one way or the other. Sometimes. So yeah. On the right of this Knight of Cups in reverse, we have the Eight of Wands in reverse. So the Eight of Wands in the traditional tarot is like 8 wands, kind of like coming down from the sky. And it can represent communication and or movement. In this deck is depicted as someone sitting in a chair and a chandelier kind of like swinging. And it looks like, with it coming out in reverse, that there is some form of understanding that their spiritual team wants them to understand. It's like, there's something that we want you to understand about communication, or when you're trying to affect or inspire or influence a large number of people. There's one thing that you need to understand. And I'm hearing the words, be grateful. So it looks like their spiritual team would encourage them to kind of slow down a little bit, exercise patience, not to be the first to jump on something. Sometimes we can be inspired and we kind of like go to social media and we just say something. So I seen like exercising, being reserved, and there's also something coming through about why is that motivating you to say something? What is your intention regarding when you decide to come up and say something or lend your 2 cents or your opinion? So it can be kind of like that need to get both sides type of energy, the patience that might be required with that, just not acting, reacting to a situation. Oh wow. So on top of this Eight of Wands in reverse, we have the Temperance card coming out upright. So yeah, that's definitely reconfirming this need for letting things sit a little bit, or waiting to see how things play out. So underneath this Queen of Swords, under the deck energy, we have the Four of Wands in reverse. Something about what he wants to say or has to say affects his family. It's kind of giving me that energy of like when someone stands for something or says they care about something, but other people close to them have experienced maybe the opposite of that, or they haven't always seen through their actions that they actually value that. And so it's giving me the energy of someone like going on a podium and like, this is important and we should always do this, and this is how things ought to be or should be, and this is important to me. And like immediate family members, friends, or people just like immediately in their circle that have experienced them in their most mundane day-to-day life are kind of like, well, you didn't do that for me. Well, I didn't get that from you. Well, I haven't seen you value those qualities. Well, what about that time when I decided that I wanted to do this and you came up against me? And so it's giving me that energy. So something about what this person is wanting to speak up about publicly is in, and it's not even that it's bad or that it's wrong, or not even necessarily like, how some people can like, they're nothing like that character, but then they'll go before other people and they're like pretend or they're delusional. It's not necessarily that, but it is a conversation that needs to be had. Why did my voice change like that? Had. It is a conversation that does need to be had. And this may be speaking to a person that they had been in the past or something, that a family member feels like, you know what, I would appreciate an apology. If that is the case, if that's how you really feel, I would appreciate an apology. So I'm just seeing with this Four of Wands, it destabilizes something, or it brings up something that they have to answer to. Okay, so next to this Four of Wands in reverse, we have the Sun card. Very interesting. And next to that, we have the Five of Coins. And on top of the Five of Coins, we have the Three of Swords. Yeah. It's giving like when I wasn't at my best. Like someone is wanting to articulate, vocalize, publicly speak on something that's important to them or something that they have learned, but they're not realizing that they learned that over time, or they're just not aware of the fact that they didn't always show up as these words that they're speaking of for other people. And it's really going to put into perspective, because I see that it's not something that they even think of it like that. So I'm getting like a family member, a friend, a son or daughter is telling their parent like, when I was in 8th grade, do you remember when I told you about X, Y, and Z that I wanted to do? And you and mom shot me down for that. And y'all made me feel like it wasn't even worth it, or it wasn't even important, or that's not something that I should waste my time with. That's what it's giving me. And them like kind of being caught off guard, like, oh, well, yeah. I didn't even think about it like that. I didn't even realize that I affected you like that. And then they're also going back to like, well, I had the best intentions for you. At that time, it was just not a good time for this. And the other person's like, well, that's what I really wanted to do. And I still think about that. And that having value. So yeah, there's things coming up that just needs to be a conversation. And it's crazy because this Four of Wands representing the holes in, let's say, a family creed. It's like, how people will use their last name, like the Robertsons, like the Robertsons model, like the Wallaces. This is something that's important to us. This has always been important to us. This has always has been a part of our practice. Is giving that energy. So I think it's significant that this Four of Wands and the Five of Coins and the Three of Swords, representing heartbreak type energy, is coming out on the side of the Sun card. Or it's interesting that the Sun card is coming out in between these two cards, I should say. I think that's interesting. And it looks like they're just wanting acknowledgement. And so if we're going back to this idea of sweetening the medicine, communicating with awareness of other people's emotions, of other people's feelings, and I'm hearing the word threat, being mindful of how you come across, how your message is delivered, how you deliver your message. If we go back to that, I don't know, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, there's just things that other people were kind of hurt. So yeah, they're speaking from a place that has developed and matured over time, and they're not realizing that they haven't always been that way or exercised those practices in real time with people that love them. Yeah, so I was wondering what this Three of Wands in reverse was meaning. Upright, it can mean just heartbreak. For this specific reading with the Three of Swords coming out in reverse, it is saying like being unaware of how you've hurt other people, being unaware of how you've affected other people as you were striving for your personal dreams, goals, and desires, as you were trying to accomplish something. Not being aware of like how underdeveloped way back then that your communication was, your practices were. It's giving me the energy. It's like you weren't the nicest person to be around, you know, when I was growing up. It's giving that. So, very interesting. Okay, so we have the Temperance card. Okay. So, directly underneath this Knight of Cups, where their spiritual team wants them to learn how to be more compassionate when delivering messages, we have the Ace of Coins in the choice point position, and this is always also bringing up that from their spiritual team's protection, from their spiritual team's perspective, they have given, or this person that we're talking about has been given a gift through communication. Their communication was always meant to go very far. Their influence through how they speak, the messages that they share, have always been kind of like ordained or anointed or blessed. It was always meant to go far. And it's coming out in the choice point position. There is something about it, their gift and their deliverance of their gift has not yet reach its full and entire and holistic potential just yet, but it is coming out in the choice point position. And the other piece to being able to experience the benefits, the blessings of utilizing their gifts in to its highest potential, maintaining its integrity and its fullness and what it was meant to do, um, is available. The other side of the piece is like acknowledging how they have affected other people in the past, and something about being able to successfully alchemize that energy with the people that are bringing this concern, issue, grievance up to them, being humble enough to, some parents, some, people, they'll kind of like, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear about who they used to be. Maybe it's painful for them too. Maybe they're ashamed. If they can successfully alchemize that, being acknowledged, what's being brought to them, take accountability for it, something about whatever's left out of that alchemy, out of that conversation, and opportunity for accountability is going to help them paint the picture that they're trying to paint with whatever the speech is that they intend on giving publicly, that they say is important to them. It's going to make it that much more powerful because they're going to be more well-rounded about who they are. Going back to this point where it's like they're not realizing that everything they know now is not everything that they knew. And on a surface level, they do know that. They know that they have grown over time, but they're really not. They haven't really integrated that idea that, of how they showed up for others in the past. So yeah, underneath this Ace of Coins coming out in the choice point position, we have the King of Wands. And this King of Wands is coming out in, did I say the choice point position? It is. So I do see that their spiritual team it's definitely giving like, it's Page. Was it Page? What's the, dang, I don't even know them. I forgot what the middle one was, but it's like Page, then something else, then Queens, then Kings. So they're on the Queen level, so they're not new to this. They do have a level of integrity with their communication. They do have some of the virtues of this gift. But it's like they're getting an upgrade, or their spiritual team is opening an opportunity for them to get to another level. But it requires them to have this other kind of virtue, is the way it's kind of coming through. So, but the point of this is that it's another opportunity to be a leader, to make a mark on the world, to be of significant influence on other people. Is something that they could be proud of, that no one else can take away from them. And I'm hearing the words celebrity status. But yeah, it's an opportunity for them to be a leader in a new way, or more prominent way. Something. But it looks like your spiritual team wants to know that they're ready for that. Okay, on top of that, we have the Seven of Wands. So I am getting that this is a challenge for them. It will take some overcoming. And this overcoming feels like fighting for what you say you believe in. I forgot the exact words, but one time I heard Gemini Brown talking about like, some people are like, I'm a lover, and then others are like, I'm a fighter, or are you a lover or a fighter? And he was saying, no matter what side of the coin that you identify with right now, at some point, a lover is going to have to be tasked with the responsibility to fight for what they love. And the opposite for a fighter. Sometimes you will have to be tasked with understanding what it is that you do love, or the weight or responsibility of kind of like preserving your energy. Like, you can't fight everybody and you can't fight everything. So what is it that you love that you're willing to fight for? So he was saying, like, either way on both coins, I think it might have been a different example, but it's like either which way is still going to come down to balance. So this person is being encouraged to like fight for their family, fight for this immediate person that's been in their energy that says, well, I didn't get any of that. Oh, it's nice to know that you care about that. Sounds good. And, fighting for, and it's also like caring about what other people, like some people, they'll say that they care about stuff and like they don't care that that's not really who they are. So I feel like that's kind of being tested. Okay. Okay, so on the right of the spread, we have the Judgment card coming out in reverse. There is this level of being humble, and it's kind of like them giving permission to someone else, someone that they kind of owe an apology, that they affected negatively in the past, to say that they are worthy of sharing this word, sharing this message, sharing this speech, talking about this thing publicly. So again, it's that energy of like, this is important to me on the podium, like this is important and we should all strive for this, we should do this. And this person in the back was like, well, you weren't like that with me. And it's the energy of like turning to that person and having that conversation and acknowledging and asking them, what is it that I can do now in the future that would help you understand that I understand the impact that I had on you, and I'm a different person now, and this is what is important to me, and this is why I think it's important. How can I resolve this with you? And so there's like this stepping down or kneeling down and being humble and realizing that I don't know. But yeah, that's the Judgment card in reverse. And there's this, like, what do you think I should do about this? This is what I'm seeing as an issue, and this is what I would like to speak on. And getting their opinions about it as well. And so, yeah, and that person I'm seeing has an opportunity to heal from past traumas. It's something about you being hurt and traumatized as a child, and how sometimes your parents or your family members, your caregivers, like sometimes you'll be left to heal those wounds yourself in your childhood, and you kind of just keep going, and then now you're like 30, 34 years old, older, and you're realizing that a wound healed, but you weren't necessarily equipped at the time to, like, you didn't say as a child, it's like if a parent takes care of you, they're going to make sure they get you clean bandages, they're going to get you Neosporin, they might have to put alcohol on it, but as a child learning how to heal traumas and wounds that you never spoke about, you kind of heal the best way you can. So we're talking about a wound that didn't heal in the best conditions that it could have. So you might have a lump, it might kind of still be sore, you might have an ugly scar because you didn't know just the best way to heal it or allow it to go through its healing process either. It just kind of, I'm getting like a healed over type of bump, and how something about it is still sensitive. So yeah, underneath this judgment card, which came out in reverse, where this person is encouraged by their spiritual team to be humble enough to allow these other people that have these grievances, these concerns, these questions about who they say they are now, allowing them to have the floor, giving them the say, the authority to say if they even move forward with this project at all. Because they don't want to be a hypocrite. They don't want to seem like a hypocrite, and they don't want to have it on their conscience that someone else doesn't see them that way. Underneath this judgment card, we have the Tower card coming out upright. What else? We have the King of Cups, and I'm hearing the word honor. This King of Cups is coming directly underneath the Judgment card, and the Tower card was coming out on the right of the Cups, the King of Cups. So let's see, King of Cups. We talked about the importance of being balanced, truly developed as a King of Cups. King of Cups has compassion, but they're also emotionally balanced as well. So they're not reactive, but they do care and they do listen in an argument. They can be emotionally vulnerable or emotionally available in relationships, which is important. There's too many people that are not emotionally available, so that can look like we need to have an important conversation, but the other person can't hear it because they can't take criticism, or they don't want to hear it because they don't want to hear about their past mistakes. They can be immature or petty. They can be emotionally seeping from others. That's like negative aspects of the King of Cups. Manipulative. The word anger is coming up. So on top of that King of Cups, we have the Page of Swords in reverse, calling for a deeper look into how this person is being encouraged to take a deeper look in how they show up in the world, how they show up in real time with the people that they feel most comfortable with. Because you know that idea of like, it's the people that we love the most that we hurt, that we don't appreciate as much. Like, we'll put a smile for our boss, but when we come home, our partners get our frowns. It's like that type of energy. Who are you at home? So yeah, Page of Swords, looking into the details, looking into the fabric of how you show up at home or in your most intimate relationships. So on top of this Page of Swords in reverse, where spiritual team's looking for more attention to detail, we have the Ten of Swords. This is definitely a humbling energy. It does bring this person down a few notches because they are perceived by many other people as this great mind or as this great character, this respectable person. So it brings down their sense of self a little bit to get a bad report, and from someone who knows them the most. So it can be triggering, but it's humbling, and it's also grounding for this person, because this person, in their request for more answers, in their request for an explanation, why were you like this when I was growing up? Why were you like this at this time? Why? Um, they they're humbled, and they have to kind of backtrack a little bit about who they think they are. Then we have on top of that the Seven of Cups in reverse. So this person also realizes that they do have choices, but from their integral perspective, it's not a choice, it's something that needs to be done. So it's like they could push forward with this message. They could, brush the person off like, oh, that was a long time ago, or I've done the more positive things that I have done for you outweighs the negative things that I've done, or you're just ungrateful, or you're just, they can kind of justify it. And justification is another thing that came up in the previous to this reading. It's like this person can justify, oh yeah, this person can justify that I'm just telling the truth. You can choose not to acknowledge the fact that you hurt other people's feelings, but it doesn't change the fact that you did. Love that for us. If this message is resonating with you, like the video so that I know that the message was received. So yeah, so like they do have a choice, but their conscience is like, there's no choice. It's giving me that energy of like, you're going on a trip, you're going to work, you're going to this event, you're going to the store, and like, damn it, I forgot my goddamn XYZ. And that contemplating of like, do I go back? Do I go back? Have I gone too far to go back? Should I go back? How badly do I need it? Damn, I hate I left it. But there's something that tells you that you can survive without it, and then there's something else that's saying that it's gonna make whatever I have to do at this destination more pleasant, more easy to enjoy with it. So now I'm going back to sweetening the medicine. You can tell somebody the truth, you can tell somebody what they need to hear, but there's nothing wrong with making it a little bit easier for them to take down, making it a little bit easier for them to absorb, and having that humility to do so. So when I'm saying it's going to make it easier for them to enjoy, it's like when they give this speech, when they talk about this, whatever is important to them, it's going to hit. People are going to love it. People are going to appreciate it. People are going to be inspired by it. But you're still going to have that feeling whether or not they choose to acknowledge this person and get on ground level and kind of really resolve these past hurts. It's still going to be in the back of their mind. So they're not even really going to get to fully enjoy, like, like when you sleep at night, your guilty conscience. It's just something that just hangs there. They're not going to be able to just fully relax into how everyone else sees them, or the things that the public expresses about them. It's gonna be like an annoyance. So on top of this Seven of Cups coming out in reverse, we have the Two of Wands. Yeah, so if they take the route where they, have this conversation with this loved one. It's also going to make them more fruitful, and it's going to brighten their path or clear their path. They're not going to feel as limited, because now, after this person brings it to their attention, even if they do try to ignore it, it's like they're always going to have that in the back of their mind. They're always going to remember that. And if you leave it there, it's like it's going to affect their future decisions, their future endeavors. So there may be this conversation of like, oh no, I can't say that, because then that's going to bring this up again, or I can't do that. And it's like it's coming up again. It's like, it's not that what they're saying is wrong, and it's not even that they're not that person now, but you're gonna put yourself in a position where now you're trying to trim things down. So you're trimming down this gift that your spiritual team God gave you. You're having to trim it down, because you're trying to compensate in other ways that you have fallen short, instead of acknowledging it to that person, rehashing, getting it all out the way. Now it's affecting how you deliver your messages. Now you're thinking, I can't say that because I haven't always been that. Tell them that, and then you'll be released, and then you'll be free to be who you are now. But we have to acknowledge who we haven't always been. That's the thing. Okay, so on top of this Two of Wands, where their spiritual team is encouraging to know that they're meant to go even higher heights with their gift, with their character, how people perceive them, even more speeches or more, conversations, public conversations that allow them to be more well-rounded, because now in their public conversations they can be perceived as more human, because they can also acknowledge to the public that they hadn't always been that, or something to that effect. They're more well-rounded with their compassion towards others by realizing that. So on top of that, we have the Six of Coins coming out in reverse. Very interesting. And I'm hearing the words, or the word, dealings. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I feel like I'll get more information. Dealings. Something about what they're going to be involved in the future. Something about their exchanges being more authentic. Their interactions being more authentic. It just like, it's giving me the energy of it, like it puts them in a higher vibration so that they can attract the people that they need to attract. Something about like, only you can tell a story the way that you would, and how there might be certain aspects of the story that someone might want to leave out, but there's other aspects of the story that for that reason someone will stay and listen, or only for that reason someone will pick up your book, because you decide to share that. And it's giving this energy of kind of going out on the limb. So the example that came through was Will Smith when he came out with his book, and he was talking about how he contemplated killing his father to avenge his mother for past abuse that he had to endure watching as a child who was helpless and who could not defend his mother. So it's kind of like going out on the limb by sharing this is very deep. This is like the root of my trauma. But for that very reason, the people that connected, and the story was authentic, and it allows people to see his humanity. It's giving that type of energy. So I love that example came through for Will Smith. Yeah. So at the bottom of the spread, we have the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords. The whole time, the bottom of the deck, undercurrent energy, was the Queen of Swords. We have the Ace of Swords. So this is a reminder of this gift that this person's spiritual team gave them. And I'm hearing brought to them. And I'm hearing the word honorable again. Let's see. On the left of this Ace of Swords, we have the King of Coins coming out in reverse. Let's see. Seven of Wands. Knight of Cups. Very interesting. I feel like I'm going to need more information for these. Okay, so underneath this Temperance card, towards the middle of the spread, we have the Eight of Cups in reverse. So this is definitely the energy of like feeling like I need to backtrack. Should I turn around? I forgot my favorite fishing pole. I literally brought 8 different poles for me for different reasons, but I forgot my favorite one though. 8 of Cups, so this need to backtrack, and how that requires a balanced temperament. With the Temperance card, that does require a level of discernment as well. Because like I said, they could go forward and nobody would really know except for his conscience and the people closest to him. And he can say, well, I'm bringing money in. Can't you just be grateful? You're getting a piece of this too. I'm hearing the word gratitude. Something about being grateful for this lesson. You know how sometimes you'll tell someone something or you'll enlighten them about something, and it's almost like they didn't want to know, and so they kind of get upset because they do know, it caused them or asks them to kind of change their ways, change the way that they go about something. It's giving that energy of like being annoyed that I didn't know that before, but now I know. And wanting to, you heard a cognitive dissonance where you kind of just like tell yourself that it's not that important, even if it is. Okay, so on top of this Eight of Cups, where we have to go back and discernment is required, we have the High Priestess in reverse. So this person is really going to grapple with going back and forth with this, and it's really going to take some deep diving shadow work when they're making this decision. Do I address this? I'm also getting like maybe if it's a speech, it has to be delayed because they gotta figure some shit out. So yeah, discernment is coming up in reverse. And on top of that, we have the Six of Cups, sharing, 8th house type of energy, like when you share a space with someone. You can have your side of the room and I can have mine, but something about the atmosphere, something about your mood, it affects mine. This exchange in reverse. Nine of Swords in reverse. It's definitely giving me lump in the throat type of energy, or like I said, that feeling when you might have seen these posts like not like talking about peace of mind and how important peace of mind is. Um, some people don't have a guilty conscience, or they walk through life as if they don't have a guilty conscience, and we never really know if they do think about it or not. I choose to think that they do feel it. Some of us are just a lot better at stuffing our emotions than others. But I am getting this just kind of like something weighing on you, even if it's not readily identifiable. It's something you think about and you're just like, oh, why did I do that? Like, why did I say that? And you never really apologize to that person. Yeah. And so the last few cards that came out literally in the form of a deck. Fuck. So I'm gonna try to get through these. So we have Three of Cups, community, being able to share in. It's like something about when this person tells them like, hey, you hurt me, and something about them alchemizing these past traumas with this person through acknowledgement and understanding, and even giving them, allowing them to give you the input and say like, hey, there's this speech where I wanted to talk about how this is important to me. What do you think about it? And I'm getting them saying like, yeah, I do think trust is important. um, Back in XYZ, when you XYZ, I felt like you didn't trust me, and that made me feel like this, and this is what I would have liked to have seen for you. And the other person kind of like, going through that whole conversation. But most importantly is like asking them what they think about it is almost like including them in the project, allowing them to have a say, and them being able to see through your words, your article that you're writing, your book, your speech. They can see how you tied them into the fabric of importance. They feel important, they feel seen, because otherwise going through with it and giving this speech, they felt unseen because you, or whoever this reading is for, hadn't acknowledged how they fell short of that in the past. So I think that is amazing. So yeah, giving the speech, and they feel seen, they feel like understood and honored and acknowledged through whatever this thing is. So yeah, they feel a part, they feel like a collaboration. And there's, that beautiful feeling when you address something with someone you love that felt uncomfortable, or like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, I didn't know you felt like that. No. I didn't know you felt like that. And then y'all become cool and the air just like immediately dissipates. It's giving that energy. So yeah. I didn't know you felt like that. I hope that this mic, I don't even think this mic was up enough. Oh my god, so annoying. I don't think this mic was high enough. So yeah. Next came out the Page of Coins. Realizing something. You finally found what you were looking for. There's this aspect of fulfillment, like when we win awards. So I hear. I'm not a part of the 1% or the 10% or the 30% that I know of. They say, no amount of money can bring you fulfillment. They say no amount of trophies and, whatever you're trying to accomplish, it's still this other unidentified something that really like makes you feel at home and gives you a peace of mind and allows you to enjoy your life and feel pleasure and stuff like that. So them going back home, them turning around the car and going back and getting something, it's like some I don't know what it is yet, but it's something like you go back for one thing and you not necessarily find something else, but it's like, I don't know what this is. I want to say it's like you go back home and you you realize it was something else that you left there, but that's not it. But it's like you're gonna get more than what you initially went back for. Whatever that looks like is the way that's coming through. Okay, so then we have the Eight of Swords coming out in reverse. So yeah, releasing yourself. This person, whoever this reading is for, you're going to be releasing yourself from, I'm hearing, a burden. And it's that ethereal burden. It's that consciousness, it's that guilt that lingers in the back of your head. It's coming out in reverse. So that burden has the opportunity to be released. We have the Seven of Coins coming out. What is it? Seven of Coins. Okay, this Seven of Coins is specifically falling on top of this Ace of Coins, the gift, and the King of Wands that came out in the choice point position earlier. So watching that grow, watching that development through your actions. That's coming up. Then we have the Nine of Cups. Yeah, and this Nine of Cups is falling out on top of this Seven of Wands we talked about earlier, where this person is being encouraged to fight for their family, fight for, let them know that you actually do care about what they think, and you're not going to justify your actions. So the Nine of Cups coming out, the Nine of Cups in the traditional tarot can represent some level of contentment. Okay, it's being humble and showing up for your family in a way that says, like, I don't think that I've made it. I know the world sees me as this, but I am not above personal development. I'm not content with where I am. I'm not content with my character. I acknowledge who I was in the past. I want to be better for you. I want you to heal from this trauma that I inflicted on you. I want you to know that I value your opinion. Wow. And we have the Ace of Wands coming out in reverse. And this is falling out on top of this Six of Cups that came out earlier, where we were acknowledging the energy that we share with others, or the effect of exchanging our exchange or our interactions with other people. Let's see. Where'd the card go? Oh, the Ace of Wands. I'm not sure. Underneath that is the Ace of Swords. Oh. Okay, so the Ace of Wands coming out on top of the Six of Cups is acknowledging how you may have dimmed other people's flames or put out other people's flames in the past. So the example that was coming through earlier was like, I felt like I was getting like a son or daughter energy expressing to their parent that, you remember that time when I wanted to do XYZ, or when I showed you my project about this and you told me that was not worth any of my time. It's kind of like you put my flame out. You make me feel like it was dumb. And I put that away because of you, but I wish that I would have kept going with that because I actually enjoyed that. That was the one thing that I actually loved. So this is an acknowledging of how they affected others and whose light they dimmed, or they put out their flame, or they discouraged them in some way. Okay, then we have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, so this person is definitely like the King of Cups came out earlier. We had the Six of Cups. We had another Cups card. We had the Three of Cups here. So this person is definitely encouraged by their spiritual team to get more balanced to feel more, to be exercise being aware more of the other party and how they're receiving their message. We have the Seven of Swords falling out on top of this Nine of Swords that came out earlier. So there is an opportunity for, kind of like we talked about earlier, they do have a choice to keep going, like to brush this concern off, ignore it, and keep going forward, but that would be deceiving themselves. And I'm hearing rob. They would be robbing themselves peace of mind with this Seven of Swords coming out on top of the Nine of Swords in reverse. They would be robbing themselves of peace. And we also talked about earlier, when they do get this acknowledgement, it's almost like it doesn't make it any better that other people are just eating up this speech, or they're eating up this talk or this interview, and the words that you used were just so elegant, and how it really hit home, and how this article is blowing up all over the world now, or this conversation, whatever they shared. It almost doesn't help. It amplifies what they already know, which is that their conscience has been compromised. So we have the Three of Wands coming out. They do have the opportunity to even broaden their horizons. We talked about earlier about something about having this conversation, acknowledging this person in this situation is going to make this message that they want to share with everyone else is going to make it more holistic, more well-rounded, because now they learned something. They realize how they affected, how they fell short, and that is going to be woven into the message that they share. So they do have the opportunity, because of that, and because the type of people are going to be attracted to that message, because they raise their vibration through this message. It's gonna like open up more opportunities. So they will be even more successful than they already are going to be. Then we have the Hanged Man, and then they're also going to have that person supporting them. And, after they finish that speech, they're smiling at them because they feel seen. And they truly believe that you are that person. We have the Hangman in reverse. So yeah, it feels like a setback. This having to go back, having to pause, and having to acknowledge, having to schedule this conversation that needs to be had. It feels like, I have to stop what I'm doing. I was just on the brink of like my speech or my book or my article. Like I really just need to focus on that because I have coming up, not knowing that this is going to make your paper so much better. It's going to make your speech so much better. So yeah. Then we have the Knight of Swords. They'll be able to go forward more confidently, fully understanding the mission. We have the Four of Coins in reverse. Something about the foundation. And I'm hearing the word alter. Altering the foundation, rearranging, changing, switching this out for that is going to make it more strong, more potent. It's going to reach more people. Then we have the World card. This person has an opportunity to experience a completion of a level, of a journey, of an understanding. It does feel like a level of understanding or something about their character. They have an opportunity to experience this feeling of completion and being more well-rounded in how they show up in the world. Is there anything else that we need to know regarding this message? Is there anything else that we need to be aware of to this message? What else? In closing. Yep. So under the deck, undercurrent energy is the Fool. It's like they can really go for it now with this person's approval and understanding. And the top of the deck energy is the Page of Wands, and it's giving me true inspiration. They'll know what it is to really be free and really be able to be creative without a guilty conscience. And it is giving me like, the opposite of writer's block, where it's like everything's flooding in now. I've had a realization, but I worked for it. I earned it. So on top of the World card, we have the Strength card coming out in the choice point position. Strength is required for this. And it looks like, compassion, understanding, and being humble for this person. And it's also slightly falling out on top of this Eight of Coins that just came out. Working on yourself. I am still a work in progress. But also it's going to elevate their personal work that they actually want to put out. On top of that, we have the Nine of Wands. Accepting flaws, accepting your flaws, but not going back to this wound example. As an adult, we can also choose not to pay as close attention to our wounds as we need to as well. It's giving like bruised ego. And knowing what to do with a bruised ego. So there's this energy of like handling a bruised ego with care and with integrity. It's in the choice point position. So something about like getting that in check or keeping that in check. Dang, a whole deck of cards came out again. Okay. We have the Emperor card coming out in the resistant position. So again, this is coming through as a struggle for this person. They want to get to this place in their life. Like they're already looked at very highly, but they want to get to this place where, not that they don't believe it now, but they believe it and they know it for themselves as well. Because even the people that they care about the most see them the same. And what was coming out earlier in the reading is that the public views them as this, but their family sometimes, because of the experiences that they've had with them, don't always see them that way. And how that's important. So then we have the Four of Cups coming out in the choice point position. Carrying burdens. I'm hearing the word resentment of others. We have the Empress coming out in the choice point position. All of these cards came out in the choice point. We have the Knight of Coins in the choice point position. Valuing themselves in new ways, carrying out the mission consciously. We have the Star card in the choice point position as well. An opportunity to heal, an opportunity for resolution available to them, but they have to make the choice. The Knight of Wands. I felt like these cards came out earlier, or this one. The Knight of Wands. Choice point position, carrying out the mission. How are we carrying out the mission? We talked about delivering a message. How did you package it? How did you carry it? Is it wrinkled? Does it have stains on it? Are you rushing to do it? Are you trying to take the shortest route? Like, it's like giving the energy of like, you want the package to get there in one piece. You don't want the other person to open the package and there's broken glass. So how is the message carried? Then we have the Page of Cups in the choice point position. There is a level of maturity that's going to be required because they can take it the wrong way when this person brings this to their attention. We have the Death card in reverse here, so there is some resistance for whoever this reading is for on their end. And we have the Five of Swords. This could lead to arguments, or they could allow it to lead to an argument, or they can initiate an argument, but they're encouraged not to. So yeah, this was a very insightful reading. I definitely enjoyed it. If this message resonated with you, let me know if the message is received by liking the video. I do want to thank my angels, guides, ancestors, God, source, and benevolent energies that stand in truth and love. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the protection. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Check out my live videos. You might find a video that resonates with you as well. Bye.